January 1st, 2026.
January 2nd.
Is that
January 2nd.
Is that not what I said?
You said first.
Did I really?
You really did.
Oh, no.
Well, we're editing that out. Let's try that again.
We're going to keep that.
We're going to keep that as the opener.
What day is it? You tell
Man,
us.
it's only been 2 days and you already forgot.
Here, let me have another one of these.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Mamalukes podcast. Hopefully, I can make it through this intro. We're your hosts. I'm Luke.
I'm Alysha.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Virginia.
And today we're talking about escape rooms, Star Wars in chronological order, your brain, yes, your brain, and AI in schools, and more. But first, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We spent our Happy New Year right here at the bar.
New Year.
Yeah. I don't know. What's the accent? Just, okay.
Jersey stroke.
We were all hanging out here. We had food on the charcuterie board. We had fruit. We had drinks. We had lots of other food. It's a fun time.
Entire cheesecake that nobody ate.
Yeah. We played some Netflix games.
That's right.
We did that. We watched. What did we watch? What game was on?
The Ohio State Miami
Sportsball.
game.
That's right.
And the Devils versus the Blue Jackets.
Sportsball. And that's all I got. Few follow-up things, I guess. First, Stranger Things is over. Stranger Things had their finale 2 days ago on New Year's Eve. Of course, we didn't watch it until, well, technically we watched it on New Year's Day, but it was like 1 a.m. that we started it. I don't think we're going to get into too many spoilers on that yet. It's only been a couple days for that. And we're still trying to give Virginia a chance.
I'm slow and steadily making progress.
Yeah. You got a week, maybe.
Okay. Week.
You can do it.
Good luck.
Social media ruined it in about 2 hours.
Yeah. And that was the thing. As soon as that episode came out, it took over my entire social feed. It was like every reel, every post on Facebook or Instagram. It was like Stranger Things this, Stranger Things that, Stranger Things is over after 10 years. Stranger Things. I'm seeing all these reaction posts now, like of the actors, like seeing, like people like, oh, this is what Steve would have did in this situation, and this is what his last words are going to be. And it's just him like, yeah, I can't argue with that, but no, it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's another reason why I'm not on YouTube.
Right. Yeah. Stranger Things is over. We'll maybe talk about it next week to allow people to have a chance to catch up. And, not talk about the finale 2 days after it just came out. Any other follow-up things we need to catch up on, or are we pretty much ready to get going?
Do we have any feedback?
We do have, as I was telling you guys earlier, one friend who listened to the first episode specifically about your Out of Africa segment. Let me pull it up here real quick. He's actually been to that woman's house in Kenya, like the real thing that she lived in 100 years ago or whatever. There's an entire town named after her. It's amazing, really. So kind of funny that one of my friends from high school is just like, yeah, I've been there. I'm like, sure. Okay.
That's cool.
But the feedback that he did give us, he said he only watched that one episode, which it's not like we have a ton out right now, but he said it was an easy listen and I didn't get bored at any point. So he's got nothing negative for us. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good so far. Yeah, I can deal with that.
I'll take that any day.
Right.
Especially because that was a long episode.
Yeah, that was a long one. I guess it depends if you're listening to the audio only version. A lot of podcast apps now, you can like pick your listening speed so you can kind of speed it up. But a lot of them too have like gapless playback, so they'll basically just edit out all the dead air.
Oh,
That's
kinda
interesting.
cool.
Yeah, I like that.
So like you can really turn a 2.5 hour episode into maybe less than 2 hours. I don't know what that would end up being. I guess it depends on your play speed. Let's get into our first thing with some escape rooms. Matt, what were you doing at an escape room recently?
Oh, we take Claire, which is my daughter, to a bunch of different escape rooms, and it just got me thinking. The most recent one when we walked in, she right off the rip, she's like, "This is a very automated room," and it gets me thinking about like all the different types of escape rooms and how escape rooms are really not created equal at all. So I'd like to go from the worst escape rooms I've ever done into some of the best escape rooms I've ever done, and then talk about maybe like some of the differences in how they're set up, or like, what would people like to see to draw them to actually go do an escape room? Is it just from word of mouth? Is it just the fact that it's an escape room? Is it the theme? Is it the cost? Like, what is it that draws people into like attempting to do these things? Because it seems like people are really, really into it, or they're not. So,
Or they have friends inviting them.
yeah, that's
that
one way to
happens.
get people to go.
I have a feeling I'm going to hear a couple of the bad ones I remember you talking about.
Yeah. And I'm going to name them too, because like I'm out there publicly on Google trashing these people. So I don't really care if it's, it happens on here, but, so kind of a couple of things that, come to mind when you're talking about an escape room is what makes an escape room good. So is it just the simple fact of you were able to complete it? Is it the fact that, the clues weren't too difficult, or they, they made sense, like you were able to like process, how they came up with it without crazy explanation from somebody coming in? Was it the people, giving you clues, or were, I know there's some places you go where they don't give you clues, but most places give you at least like 3 clues when you go into the room.
Yep.
The escape game gives you unlimited clues.
I thought
And there's
that was
no penalty
interesting.
in time or anything like that. And you could basically just sit there and have them walk you through every single step of it if that's really what you wanted to do. So that was interesting going there. But most of them generally, I think you get 3, and then sometimes they'll give you more than 3, but you get penalized on time if you take more than 3
Yep.
clues. So, there's that kind of thing. So, I mean, that's one mindset. I do like the fact that most places post a difficulty. They'll tell you up front whether the room's extremely difficult or not. So if you're going with kids, you can kind of plan around that fact. You can plan, like to go to a easier difficulty room because you have kids with you or whatever. So it's enjoyable for everybody. But personally, like, I think the automation, like the, when you solve things physically, instead of just sitting there and everything's a piece of paper and trying to jot down notes or figure out a cipher or something like that to figure out a 3-digit combination to open a lock, which gives you a different piece of paper that gives you another cipher to go to another thing and try and figure that out. I like the things that are automated. So like, I don't want to give away too many like things about rooms, but like if you were going into a Harry Potter room or something like that, if you knew something about, the storyline, you could have, like the 4 houses in Harry Potter, for example, if you could place certain things in the right place in the room because you knew something, and it was along that theme, and then it opened something, is a lot different than sitting there and trying to figure out, like, I read this paragraph and they capitalized the letters of 6 words and it spelled out a word.
Right. Yep.
You know what I mean? So, I think that like, when
You're saying you like it better when
it's
you
automated.
already have to know what's going on?
No, I mean, it's nice when things are like that. But what I'm saying is I like when things are automated. Like, you stick an object into a hole in a wall that fits, and then a safe opens up in another room, or a doorway opens up to a different place, or
Interactive.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. One of your criteria for good is, do those automations actually end up working when they're supposed
Yeah,
to?
Valid.
That's very true too. Like, I mean, and the whole thing is that like, I get it. You know, people beat on things and people are rough on stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and they tell you in every run, you know, if you can't move it with 2 fingers, it's not supposed to move.
This
and
is
people
not part of the game.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And people do beat the crap out of stuff. But when you're supposed to be like watched on a camera, and to your point of bad escape rooms, you know, when you're supposed to be watched on a camera and they can see that you've actually completed the task and their prop doesn't work and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
valid.
And you're just sitting there for like 10 minutes, you know,
Mhm.
beating your head. Like, and he's like, finally, oh, you know, a drawer should have opened somewhere. Well, you know what, dude, like fix your springs. Like, you know, springs wear out. So put a heavier duty spring in there,
Right.
make the drawer actually pop out. We go through a series of escape rooms. Like there's a place up in Cleveland that has 5 different locations, and 4 of their locations are really good. They're really nice. They're really well maintained. The people are helpful and stuff like that. And then they have a 5th location where every single room that we've done there, something has not worked.
Mm.
Have we been there with you?
No,
Not that one.
no, not that one. We did 3 of them there and then we stopped.
Yeah,
because,
we just stopped going.
And then we complained, like not complain. We were actually at a different location and the owner was there and he was like, you guys have done our rooms before? And we're like, yeah. We're like, everyone but this one location is great. And he's like, well, why don't you like that location? I'm like, because there's specific things that do not work. And like I explained it to him. I'm like, this didn't work. And we spent 20 minutes of your hour on this one thing because it didn't work. We were doing it correctly, to the point where they had to stop us after 20 minutes and somebody came in and had to manually make it whatever it did, open whatever door or whatever hatch or whatever,
Right. Yep.
so that we could move on. But we wasted 20 minutes of our time on that one thing, you know, and
Yeah.
that's not only frustrating, but it's you know,
frustrating, but it's also like you're paying to do it. And if like our track record, not to toot our horn or anything, but it's pretty impressive. Like we usually get out, and at that place, we haven't,
not once.
and it's all because of broken things. Or like the one time that something didn't work, they said, we were like, well, how much farther did we have to go? And they're like, oh, this was it, just one clue after that. And because we couldn't, like we spent
Yeah.
20 minutes doing that, we didn't get out.
And it's like a literal 20 minutes. Like we were sitting there and then the guy comes in and he beats on the wall and this little thing opens up and he was like, did you see that light? And I'm like, yeah, I saw it light up. And he was like, oh yeah, well here. And he smacks it like really hard. And then he like, it didn't open then. And he like grabs it and rips it open. And then there's like this
Something
little
that
crank.
fell out.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, what happened to the 2-finger rule? You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like, so you're not supposed to beat or pry on anything. You know what I mean? Like I didn't even have to solve the puzzle. I could have broke the thing open.
You got to bring
Right.
your own bat.
Right. So, I mean,
BYOB.
that's super frustrating. I mean, but even that, like one thing not working, nothing is worse than trapped escape rooms in Strongsville Mall.
Yeah, by far the worst
Okay.
ever.
So I'm just going to run through this really quick because this was the worst escape room thing. Number one, it's one of the most expensive escape rooms we've ever done.
That's true.
Okay.
It was almost $50 a person. So it was like almost $150 for the 3 of us to go in.
Wow.
And when we got there, they weren't ready. And so
Good start.
yeah, so we waited like 10 or 15 minutes and then we had to go up and ask the kid and we were like, you know, hey, is this ready yet? And he's like, oh
Is this already past your scheduled start time?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
well past. I mean,
Yeah.
so we showed up about 5-10 minutes early, which is what they tell you to do.
Matt's an early person.
I am. I'm
He's
almost,
punctual.
if I'm not
arrives
early, I'm
early.
late. So,
It's because of Virginia.
but we were there. We ate dinner like in a restaurant, like right out in front of the mall. So, we went in and we were right on time, like 10 minutes early. And then we sat there for that 10 minutes. And then we sat there for like another 15 minutes. And I'm like looking at the guy and I'm like, he's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, whoa, what do you mean? Oh yeah. And he's like, oh, you're here for it was the Lilo and Stitch room. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, well, let me go check on that. I'm like, you're just now gonna, you know what I mean? So like, it was like another 10 minutes. So we're like 25 minutes past the start time at this point. He goes in And he brings us in there and we walk in the room and he's like looking around and Claire like looks up and there's like 3 cages stacked on top of each other. And the second cage, the lock's undone. And she's like, is it supposed to be like this? And he's like, oh, can you step back out? And we're like, out of the curtain? This didn't even have walls.
Oh,
it was
no.
literally 4 curtains.
It was bad.
Okay. And he's like, you're not locked in. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like, so we go back out of the curtain and we're in like this little hallway thing and he's in there and he locks this lock and he's like, okay, you can come back in. And we go in. The very first thing the guy says to us is, you don't have to know anything about Lilo and Stitch to complete this escape room.
Oh,
and we're
no.
like, oh, good. Okay. So there's a 5-digit lock with letters on it. And he's like, I'm going to give you a clue to help you out since, you know, you're already started. And we're like, what do you mean we're already started? And he was like, well, it's like 30 minutes after the hour and you were supposed to start at, you know, whatever it was, like 6 o'clock. And we're
Right.
like, no, our hour is starting now.
Now.
Like we're not starting, you know what I mean? And he's like, well, other people have booked this room. And we're like, whatever, just go. And he's like, okay. He was like, well, the first clue, he's like, just so you know, it doesn't have anything to do with Lilo and Stitch. And he's like, but Ohana means family. And I'm like, that wasn't in the fucking movie?
That was definitely
Like,
in the movie.
Yeah.
That was definitely in the movie, right? So, you know, Ohana means, and then the 5-digit lock was family. I think you did need to know, like, specifically something from Lilo and Stitch. Nothing else after that. So he was valid. Like, nothing else after that did you need. So there's 4 dog cages stacked on top of each other with different locks on it. And inside of each one of these dog cages is a laminated sheet of paper and an inflatable alien.
That's not inflated.
Yeah, so like a blow-up alien, like a little tiny kid's toy, probably like 8 inches, and these little things, and they're not even like inflated. They're just like flat laying inside these cages with a laminated piece of paper on top of it. Each one of them is a different code of some kind. So we figure them all. We'll fly right through the first 5 cages. 4 of them, we did with the actual paper and stuff. Like one, Claire just sat there and went like this and figured out the code because there was like 4 numbers, and she just sat there while we were doing other things, and she just sat there and figured out
We're
what
like,
it was. And then
how
just
did you
opened the
get
lock.
it?
She's like, I just tried all the combinations. I'm like, okay. So she opens the one lock. We're sitting there, and then like we're on this last puzzle, and we literally have 43 minutes left. And we asked for a clue 3 times to get through the last puzzle.
Right.
He comes in there because we never got it. With his clues, nothing, we never got it. We never figured it out. He comes in there and he's like, well, these are the first 3 digits of the lock. And we're like, we got that. And he was like, you want to know how you get to the 4th one? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, I don't know. They never told me.
That,
I was like, are you serious right now? Like, are you joking? Are you just kind of messing with me? He's like, I really don't know. He's like, it's 5, but I don't know how you come up with 5. And I'm like,
yeah.
nobody else does either. I
Is
was
it-
like, what is the success rate at this room? 0? Like nobody can open all 5 dog cages?
Is
like,
it
you know
is it
what I
the
mean?
total of dog cages?
Maybe.
But it was
We
like
need
this.
to know.
It was like this thing where you had to figure out like the purple alien went to this planet with this spaceship and this, and then it like went through each one of those for like 5 different things, and then you had to figure out where the one alien was from, and it was something off of a map or something.
They're going to be so mad you're giving away their secrets.
I don't even care, man. This was so bad. It was so poorly put together. The kid had no idea what he was doing. Like, and I've left them like I left them a Google review all about this too. So
Yeah, you should look that
that
up.
is all. That is absolutely the worst. That was the worst one that I've ever been in.
Yeah, same. Worst I've ever been in either
So
as well.
the best one that we've ever been to is in Cracker Park, and it is so advanced technologically. Like
Okay.
Is that one that we've been to with you?
you did the,
The
prison cell
submarine?
one.
The
Yes,
submarine
in the
one.
submarine. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, you know, you complete this video screen comes up, it plays something that has to do with that, you know, and there's multiple different things that people can be working on at the same time.
And that's the one with
no.
unlimited clues.
And
Yeah, and
that's the one with the tunnel that you get to go through.
They have all kinds of things.
Yes.
We had a
Yes.
Yeah, we did
a
this.
room
Yeah.
Yeah.
with a different couple.
Yeah.
That was the prison cell one.
The
Yes.
library, the
Yes.
really, really complicated library.
So we've been there 3 times.
We did 2 in one day
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that.
because they gave us like a 20% discount if we did a room right after we did a room.
that's right.
So
Okay.
we did 2 rooms in one day.
Yep.
But that place is amazing.
And they have locations all over the United States.
Yes. So there's one in Columbus that has 2 different rooms because we've done all the ones that are up in Crocker Park. So there's one in Columbus that has 2 different rooms. So we want to go down there, make a day of it or whatever.
Right.
Schedule both rooms down there, get dinner or whatever, and do that. But yeah, so that's definitely like way on the opposite side of the spectrum from that other one.
Yeah.
But the Cleveland Escape Room series is great. Escape Medina is phenomenal. The Escapeology is more toward that pencil and paper type rooms where you do have to find stuff, but it's not like when you do something else opens up. You manually have to move from room to room and stuff like that. Yeah, there's less technology. I mean, it's a decent theme and stuff like that, but it's not as advanced technologically. And then you have the new ones, which I just found out about, Perplexity. So that's like the new kid. And it looks like they have about 4 different locations around. So we're going to have to check those out and see how those are.
So I have went to one there, I think. I think that's where I was at.
I've never seen that before. I don't know if they're like brand new or not, but like the Canton Escape Room and Escape Downtown and stuff like that. Those ones are also very manual, pen and paper, doing math, figuring out ciphers, finding pages in books and stuff like that, that kind of stuff. There's not a whole lot of automation to it.
Right.
I think the other difference between those ones and, for example, Escape Medina and the ones in Cleveland and Crocker Park is that a lot of times you're just in one room. One of the things that is really cool about these other places is a lot of times like something opens up and you have another room that you can go in. And the other thing that I think sets them apart, which not all of them, but the escape rooms where it's not find a clue that leads you to another clue, and then that clue leads you to another clue.
So I have that on here too. So
I'll
what that is,
let you
that's
get
called
that.
linear versus non-linear.
Yeah.
So like a linear escape room is like, it's great for 2 or 3 people.
Right.
Where you have to do one thing to do the next thing to do the next thing, and you have to do it in a certain order.
Those are branches.
Right. Non-linear rooms are so much better when you're in a group.
Right.
And I actually wish that they would put that out there.
This is linear. This is not
right.
linear.
So you knew when you were with a group, because like when you're with a group and you got 5-6 people working on the exact same clue, there's a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
There's a lot of personalities that get involved.
We've seen that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that I don't particularly care for those kind of a room in a group setting. I don't mind doing them. I just don't prefer them in a group setting. So, so now the big thing is physical escape rooms, which we've all done. Now there's virtual escape rooms. There's a lot of them online. There's a lot of board games and things like that where you can do them like, in the setting of your own house. I don't think they're super difficult. We did do one at one of the puzzles. I don't know how anybody in the world ever would have figured out, what it was, but they did have like a cheat thing where you could go to a website and they would give you clues.
That was like the board game version.
Like one of the board game version ones. But there was now there's like supposed to be virtual ones. So there is a place out toward Youngstown.
Southern Park Mall?
I don't know.
Are you talking about Boardman maybe?
Boardman, yeah.
Yeah.
So they have a virtual escape room out there. Like you put on the headset and the whole deal. And like, I'd like to try that. I haven't done that yet. So I'd like to try that. When you guys look at an escape room, like, when we're talking about it and stuff like that, like what draws your attention to it? Is it the theme? Is it the cost? Is it like the fact that we've told you like this is a good place to go? I mean,
usually that last one.
This is a good place.
Hey, we're going to an escape room. Do you want to come?
Also sometimes that.
I mean, viewer, if you guys are a listener, either one, if you guys are out there, like what draws you guys like, to go out and do these things? Is it word of mouth? Is it, because like, I have a friend that never wanted to do an escape room. I told him there was a Game of Thrones escape room and she went and did that, You know
Right.
what I mean? Because it was the theme, it was something that, she felt like it interested her. Like for me, it's the challenge. I like the puzzles and things like that. So
I really like a nice, clean, everything's in order.
Everything works.
Everything works.
yeah.
It's interactive. It's detailed. Was it part of the submarine where you had the map and then you had the other like room full of all the specimens?
What about that one?
I don't remember if it was that one or not.
I just really liked how. It was,
Yes, it was. I
it
remember
was
what you're talking
super
about.
interactive, and we had the map, and you had to like put it over each specimen on the map, and it correlated with what was in the room.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You had to use.
So
like,
we're
different
working on the
angled
map. You
compass
guys are
thing.
in the room,
Right.
like as a collective. We're really
Saying.
in it to win it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it when there's, like the non-linear or the bigger interactive ones for groups. And I really think that, they should publish, like I said, these people, when they're putting this stuff out there, aren't telling you enough about the room.
Yeah, I agree.
You know
with
what I
that.
mean? They say it's easy, medium, or difficult. That's all they say.
Yep.
They should say, it's a linear room. It's a non-linear room. It's a good room for groups. It's, not just, minimum of 8 people. Otherwise, we'll put you in there with people you don't know. Not super thrilled about that.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
are. Yeah, that's another really important thing to know before you go is if you could potentially be in the room with people you don't know. Because I think it makes it a totally different experience.
The vibe's off.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you don't know those people.
Yeah, because you don't want, you want to complete the room, you want to take control, or whatever. You don't want to step on people's toes.
Everybody has their strengths.
Right.
The interesting thing is the one that we said we like the best. That one does allow other people there.
Yeah, and I still enjoyed the ones that we did without people more.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Speaking of
I do.
without people, what is the one that we did without Virginia for your birthday?
That was at
That's
Escapology.
Okay,
that
that's
was,
what I thought.
we did the train Murder on the Orient Express
Yeah.
type thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That one was all right.
It was okay. Like I said, it was a lot more pen and paper, keeping a chart, different things like that. It's not bad. It was feasible. It was easy enough to do.
I think I had to do some Morse code puzzle with that one with like a pair of headphones and listen to something.
Yeah, but I mean, when you were done with it, when you figured out the code, all it did was like tell you a lock combination or something
Right,
like that.
yeah,
It didn't like
yeah.
automatically open a wall or something, like different things like that. So and my only complaint about automated things is that like if it's supposed to push something open, it should push something open.
Right.
Not like where you have to give it a little tap
Yeah,
for it to open all the way.
But yeah, so I mean that's what I got. I just we do enough of them. Me and Virginia, and probably the last 2 years have probably done about 30 to 40 of them.
At least.
We've almost completed the entire Escape Cleveland series. We've done all of the Escape Medina, except for you haven't done one. And then we've done a couple other ones and stuff like that. So shout out to those because those are great. And
Yeah.
like we tell everybody, like that's
To go.
that's a great series to go to. Like Escape Medina is phenomenal. They're super organized, never had an issue. Never even had to like wait for a clue or anything like that. Everybody there is like, on top of their game,
They're typically actually into it and
Yeah,
know
yeah.
how everything works, and
Right.
they're actually happy to be there.
Yeah.
It does help if you like your job because, yeah.
Well, and I think Escape Crocker Park is probably my number one. And then I would say Medina after that, even though the Cleveland series is fun. I just think Medina really has their stuff together. Their rooms are really well put together.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not a knock on every Escape Cleveland series one that we've done. Just that one facility is horrible. I mean, and they say it's the oldest one, but
Mhm.
okay, I get it. It's the oldest one. We'll fix stuff. You know what I mean? Update it and fix stuff. And it takes these people like a year to build a room, and I see why. You
They
have
put
to,
a lot into it.
Yeah, you have to theme it. You have to put a lot into it. You have to constantly troubleshoot it. You have a lot of moving parts and things like that. But upkeep it. That's my whole thing. Like if something doesn't work, like as soon as you do it and it doesn't work, somebody should be telling you or coming in or doing something, not letting you waste your time.
Right.
Because like we did It was like an Indiana Jones room.
Oh, that one was
And
fun.
one thing didn't work. And at the end, we were literally running,
Yeah.
like physically running through this room, trying
I
to
think
get
that's
like
the least
last.
amount of time that we had left on
Yeah,
a clock.
it was under a minute.
Yeah, it was like seconds left.
Yeah. We got out, but it was
was
so
rough.
close. And the whole thing is that we would have had like another 10 minutes
Mhm.
if
Right.
everything would have worked properly. So
That was a fun room, though. I did enjoy that room.
it had a lot. It had a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
So.
I think that's for me. I think nonlinear, I prefer more, honestly, even when there are lower numbers, but especially if you're going to have a big group.
Yeah.
And I think having multiple rooms in the same room, I just think it's a cool feature when a door opens up or you have to crawl through a space to get somewhere else. And then I think the right amount of clues. Like you want it to be a challenge, but you also don't want it to be so overwhelming. Like he's done some in different states.
Yeah.
And you said the one had
We did
just
one in
way
Virginia.
too many clues.
It was literally, I mean, you had 60 minutes to get through it. And it was like 30 clues that you had to solve to get out of the room. And even the lady was like, she was like, you guys have made it the farthest we've ever seen anybody ever make it. And we're like,
maybe you need to take some clues
how much
away.
did we have more to go? And she was like, oh, there was like 4 or 5 more things. And we started counting. We turned around and was like, I bet you we solved like 15, 16 different things.
Jeez.
We couldn't believe that it never ended.
Kept going. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's like nobody ever got out of that room. And obviously it was just too much, you know, like she said, there is a happy medium in there between being way too easy. And then, you know, I mean, nobody wants to pay for an hour and go in there and be out of there in 16 minutes.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so.
Well, and I think it's interesting because a couple of the ones that we've gone to, I ask a lot of questions and sometimes they'll give you like a percentage rate of how successful people are in the room. And I think it's really neat to see when escape rooms will adjust their clues and adjust the room so that you have the right percentage. Because obviously you want the majority of people to get out, but you don't want it to be like 100% of people, then it's too easy.
Right.
So I found that really interesting that there's a lot that goes into it in certain places where they'll actually look at the data and adjust accordingly. And I think that's important.
So with, you know, a room being designed and then, you know, it may not change for 6 or 7 years before they take it down and start another room or something like that. You're limited in how many locations you can go to or where you can actually go see stuff. So like Escape Medina, we've done things a couple of times. The nice thing about their non-linear rooms, when she's working on something and I'm working on something and I solve something and she solves something, I didn't see what she did.
Mm-hmm.
So the next time I go in, I can stay away from, you know, something that I've done in the room and go for a different type of clue or something like that and work on something different so that I get to see it.
Yeah, it makes
know.
it worth it to go to the same room multiple times.
Right. And I mean, we're talking about years apart,
Right.
you know, so it's not like you remember
Can't
every
go
single
next
little
month
thing.
and-
Right.
Hopefully
It's-
get
I
a new
don't-
experience.
I don't actually think I've ever redone a room. And I'm curious if I did if I would still enjoy the experience.
Well, we talked about the one facility that we've had issues with going back there
Mm-hmm.
because we know we were like 2 or 3 things away. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not paying just to go get those last 2 or 3 clues and then actually get out of the room as a pride thing because we didn't get out.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I probably would. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I guess just on the thought of like, you know, going back and doing a room, I'm sure a lot of these places, there's at least some rooms across the different places that have a similar theme. So, or are they all vastly that different?
No, they're vastly that different.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean like a different place but has the same theme?
Right.
So we've
Right.
done them. We've done multiple submarine rooms. We've done multiple.
They were nothing alike.
Yeah, they were nothing alike. We've done multiple. Jailbreak is a very common one. Actually, we did 2 different jail ones with you. Or no, maybe it was a bank heist. Bank heist is
Yeah,
another really
yeah.
common one that I've done multiple of those. So there's a lot of like reoccurring themes, but the clues and the setup is honestly, I don't think I've ever been to one where I'm like, oh, this is exactly like the other one.
Okay.
Right. I did do one jailbreak room and they literally would not, you're not allowed to have your phone. You're not allowed to have a flashlight. Like you had to earn your flashlight to get to it and stuff like that. And there was a key, and even the key ring was spray painted black, and it was hanging on a black hook on a black wall, and all the lights were out. And there was like, you were like locked in this room, and like off to the side, there was like one very dim light. And we spent 27 minutes in there to find the key to start the very first thing.
Mm.
So obviously we didn't get out of there, but like that was another one that was just like everything was manual. You know what I mean? It was, you know, you had to figure out a cipher in a book. You had to figure out, you know, a number combination based off of looking at different pictures in the room on dates or different things like that. You know what I mean? Everything was very manual. And the fact that the very first thing, like it was me and April and Sean, and we asked for a clue twice in the first like 27 minutes. And finally they had to come in and show us where the key was.
Yeah. I
was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I'm so mad. I had such a bad attitude about it the whole rest of the time that we were in there too.
It's not the same experience, but I remember the one time we all went, I think it was it was the prison cell one. You just mentioned about getting locked in a room specifically within there. I remember there was a room one of us had to go into, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'll go in and shut the door. And I'm like, I'm stuck in here.
Yeah, was it Asylum?
That was Asylum.
Yeah, Asylum.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just talking through a little window, like 1 inch tall.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I think those ones are nice where there's like a twist of some sort like that too. That keeps it really interesting, and you're like, oh, this is happening. You know, now I got to figure it out. So
the immersion.
Yeah, I was this whole time I was thinking like, what's your favorite one if you had to narrow it down? And I don't think I could, honestly. You have a favorite? I don't think I can. I was trying to think of all the different ones.
I would probably say the Vampire Room and Escape Medina was my favorite room.
That is a good room. That's the first room I did there. That
was my that's probably my favorite room I've ever done.
What was the one where you guys stayed the night?
Oh, the that's for
Is that not an escape room?
It is.
Kind of was,
an escape room hotel.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So basically it's a house. It's a 3-story house that was like changed into 3 escape rooms.
Okay.
And you rent out the hotel suite, and basically is what it is. And that there's an escape room built into it, but it's for couples. And it's like a romantic thing. And you go through like the one room you find has massage chairs. The one room you find has body paint.
Oh,
the sauna.
Yeah, the sauna.
Had the sauna.
There was like the Little Mermaid room area.
Yeah. They
where you could do like a photo
it was like an under the sea prom type thing. Prom theme under the sea room. They had like a camera set up and stuff like that. But that bed was the most uncomfortable, gigantic thing I've ever seen in my life. So literally it was like 3 king size beds.
Oh yeah, you did show us.
Yeah. And then it like it had clues built into the bed too, and
it
stuff
was
like
very
that.
neat.
Yeah, like it vibrated. The whole giant bed vibrated, you know, and stuff like that. But they're like this place actually. It's so cool of a setup. Like it's very expensive.
It is very creative.
But like when you go through and you get to a certain point, they're like, stop here and go have dinner. But you go down to one of the little restaurants, you have dinner and stuff, and then you come back and then it ties right back in. Like you have to solve a clue to get into your room, like to open your door. Right. You have to solve a clue. So. It was fun.
I have to say
that was cool.
It was very creative, and honestly, even after doing so many escape rooms, I mean, they had some original things that I had never seen, and I thought that was really neat. Like, it definitely kept you engaged the whole time.
Yeah, and there was a lot.
Yeah,
it wasn't like there was just like 5 puzzles or something. There was a lot. There was a lot to do. So,
do you think they've ever like charged late fees, locked people in their hotel rooms who wake up in the morning and like, all right, checkout's in 10 minutes. We moved it up and you got to figure out how to get out. Hurry up.
Be a good scam for making some money.
I mean, we've talked about doing them again, just like a different room.
Yeah, they have 2 locations around here.
Yeah, 2 locations, and they have 3 rooms in each?
3 rooms in each.
One, yeah.
So it was pretty funny though, because it was like, it's just a house. So when you pull up and stuff like that, you walk in and they give you instructions on which door on which floor you're supposed to go into and stuff like that. So because there was another couple that showed up at the same time we did, and we were both sitting out in our cars because you can't check in until 5. And we were both sitting out in our cars, like waiting to go up.
Mm-hmm.
So.
We let them go in first.
Yeah.
Like, let's just hang back for a second.
In case there were booby traps or anything like that.
That's right. Escape rooms are fun.
Yep.
Highly recommend. Find the good ones and keep going there.
Yeah, and tell us where they're at.
Yeah, tell us where they're. We keep talking about how at some point we're gonna run out of escape rooms to go to.
It's not too far off. I mean, we could literally this year probably finish everything. So like you said,
That's
this new
true.
one, this Perplexity, it'd be good because it looks like they have like 3 locations. So
And I think Escape Medina, we've actually been kind of hounding the website because they're supposed to have a new room coming out, and so every once in a while we'll look and be like, oh, not yet.
Well, up next we got some Star Wars, Matt. Oh wait, I mean Virginia.
I know. I have to say I was not sure if I should do this because Matt is the Star Wars expert. I feel a little weird talking about Star Wars before he does, but
Did he allow it?
well, he asked me what my topic was going to be, and I told him, and he didn't say no.
I'll be able to contribute.
Yes, he'll definitely be able to.
I mean, technically he brought up the Star Wars Christmas movie, so
The real oven
I
project.
didn't even think about that.
so you're okay. You're safe.
Well, for those of you out there who do not know, Matt is a Star Wars, the word I'm looking for. Fanatic, connoisseur. I guess you don't really eat it, but you know what I mean. Okay, so when we first started dating, I learned how much of a Star Wars fanatic he was, and I had said I've watched some of the Star Wars before and just never really felt like it was all that great. Like I didn't get a good, like it didn't stand out to me as like an amazing movie or anything like that. And so as he, continued to talk about his Star Wars and the things he likes about it and things like that, I brought up that I wanted to watch all the Star Wars. Well, actually, I just said the movies. I said I want to watch the movies in chronological order and see if it will make more sense to me, if I'll enjoy it more. And he said, well, if you're going to do that, then you're going to do it right. You're going to watch all the Star Wars. So, and I want to say it took us, technically we're still not done. Right?
No, we have not watched the very last movie.
The very last movie is the only one that we have not watched. But as far as total time spent going through the series, and obviously this is not like, this is not just like straight. This is just, as we have time to watch them, go through this different series and things like that. I'll let you look up how long it took us.
I was going to say, did you look it up?
I did not. It's a lot of content. It took us, I want to say like a year, over a year, a little over a year.
Yeah.
To get through all of it. And that's all of the like side series and all these things like that. So
Star Wars has been taking precedence over Stranger Things.
exactly.
300 hours.
Makes more sense now.
300 hours. So we have 300 hours invested in this task. And I do have to say, if there's anybody out there who has watched Star Wars and not enjoyed it or thought like, I just don't get it, it did make a huge difference for me personally. And I don't know if I'm just so simple-minded that I had to like see it in order. I don't know. But the other thing that I would recommend is watching all the side series also, because I think it adds a lot to the story. And I was trying to think of an example, and I think the one that stands out to me the most is General Grievous, because he is in episode 3, right?
2.
2?
2.
I thought it was 3. I did look that up. I thought it was
He's
3.
in 3.
The internet is yelling
But
at
he's-
you.
He's in. Is he in 2?
Yes.
Like 2 episodes or 2 of the
2
episodes?
movies.
Oh, 2 movies. Oh, maybe that's why. So I think his main appearance is in the 3rd one. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, so in the Clone Wars movie, they really are diving into Count Dooku as the main villain of the thing. And then it opens up in the 3rd one, episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, with
The big fight.
Dooku fights. Well, I can't really ruin this,
Mm.
right? Spoilers.
Star Wars.
Spoilers.
Come on.
Yeah, I
Star
know.
Wars.
Anyway, so Dooku gets killed in the very beginning of the third movie. And then your main adversary through the rest of it is them trying to finish off the rest of the other army, basically. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank here, but that's led by Dooku. Or General Grievous. So they're chasing him around. But I mean, the Clone Wars cartoon, which is so many freaking hours of footage and stuff like that, like he's throughout the entire Clone Wars series.
Right. And
So-
I think that's why I think it's like watching it in chronological order and seeing all these side stories that are not in the main episodes, it helps to develop those characters. Like General Grievous, if you just watch the episodes, he has like not a whole lot of airtime at all. And then you have the Clone Wars where it like he's a huge part of that.
Oh yeah.
And so I just think it's neat to see.
Even like when you talk about Boba Fett or the Mandalorian or anything
Mhm.
like that, there's so many references that lead back to the Clone Wars cartoon series.
Right. Yeah.
So like you don't know who some of these people are. Like Fennec Shan, who shows up in Boba Fett and ends up tagging along with him throughout that series. You know, she's introduced all the way back in the Clone Wars. You know, so that's prior to episode 3, when episode 6 is, you know, after episode 6 is when Boba Fett takes place. So there's like a 25-year span of, you know, she was in that before that time period.
Mm-hmm. The other part of that is there's so many characters. When you look at the whole Star Wars series, I mean, the different places, the different like characters, all of that. I mean, it's
a galaxy.
It's wild how much there is there. And I think that like helping, for some reason, watching it in chronological order helped me to like kind of keep it more straight and be like, oh yeah, that's that character. And I don't know what it is about. I think it's interesting to see different series and how like because there's multiple things out there where the time frame is not chronological. And, you know, I don't know. I've never had an issue with that with other series, but for some reason, Star Wars, there was just something about watching it out of order where it was just like, I just don't get it. Like I can't keep it straight, or I don't know who the people are or whatever. And so,
Well, they made the movies out of order. So they made 4, 5, and 6, and then they turn around 20 years later and make 1, 2, and 3,
Yep.
and then they turn around 20 years later and make 7, 8, and 9.
yeah.
So I mean, they're totally made out of order, and you know. So for people like me that have followed it,
Right.
you know, and went through 7 years of the Clone Wars and 4 years of Star Wars Rebels, all the Disney Plus TV shows and all that stuff that go along with it, it's cool for me to see things pop up. But it was neat going back through and watching it with you in chronological order and being able to see how much more it makes sense.
Hmm.
So Dave Filoni, the guy that does the new Star Wars content and stuff like that, he works with Jon Favreau and does like all your TV shows like Ahsoka and all that kind of stuff, you know, all the new stuff. He's the one that actually animated the Clone Wars. So like bringing him through and having him do all the new content and stuff like that, you get all these little Easter eggs. You get all this cool little stuff that gets tossed in, and it's for the fans. It's for the diehard fans like
Yep.
me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you get to see all the stuff, but you get to see it all, like, because everything was out, you know,
Yeah.
except for what was the one that was the prequel series?
The Acolyte.
Yeah, everything was out except for the Acolyte when she started watching all this stuff. So like she got to see all this cool stuff, and like I'm like smacking her. I'm like, did you see
Yeah.
it? And she's
I
like,
do
yeah.
highly
She's like, it
recommend
makes
watching
sense.
it.
It makes sense. you
Well,
know?
I do highly also recommend watching it with somebody like that is a Star Wars fanatic, because he'll have all these like, we'll be watching it and he'll like, what do you think that prop is made out of? And it was like a Gillette razor
Yeah.
or something like that. And it was like, oh yeah, I see it now. You know, he just has all these like extra facts to add in. So I do have to say that probably added a lot to it too, because you had like the background and,
Yeah.
you know, or you'd be like, hey, okay, so this is important. You're going to need this
Right.
later. Or, hey, do you remember where this person is from or whatever? And I'm probably still not great at names and things like that, but much better
It's
than
hard.
I was.
I mean, like I said, it is there's 1,000 characters in Star Wars to try and remember, all their names and stuff like that. And I'll sit there and draw a blank because there just is so many, characters and stuff like that. It's like somebody said the other day, they're like Salacious B. Crumb. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know why that even took me 2 seconds to think of who it was, but it's just, we'll talk about like, on The Mandalorian, they had the whole, I think it was season 2 when he was with the, Gary Oldman, with the guy that was the sheriff and stuff like that. And then at the end of like, he shows up in Boba Fett and they bring back the bounty hunter from the Clone Wars series.
Yeah.
And so like right now, like since we've been talking about it, I've been trying to remember his name and I'm like, oh God. And if I see it, I'll be like, oh my, why didn't I know that? But
Right.
I do have to say there was one time Matt was going to go to Star Wars trivia. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to ask you some questions. And it was freakish how much he knew. Like, it was like, how do you even remember like the name of that planet or whatever it is? I learned what a spire is because of Star Wars.
yeah, how many spires are on the?
Do you know? This is not the trivia question, but
No idea.
So the
I think you're talking to two pretty casual Star Wars movies watchers.
Yeah, we have them upstairs.
I think I've only watched each like major film
have you watched any of
maybe
the side,
once.
this like the cartoons or anything that go with it?
It's very sparingly.
We watched The Mandalorian, Mina and I.
Yeah, I still haven't watched that.
oh wow,
What's another one?
Rogue One.
another-
I did watch Rogue One. A lot of these I did actually watch
Ahsoka.
in theaters.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Rogue One is phenomenal.
I've
It
seen Rogue
ties in
One.
so good.
Yeah.
Andor is based off of
Yeah.
that. That's the
Oh, okay.
prequel to
I did
Rogue
watch.
One.
I
So-
watched that.
But yeah, there's so much like I know Luke Skywalker.
Oh,
I think
God.
you might know why. I've only been called that a billion times in my life, but yeah, I could probably name off the top of my head maybe like 20 to 30 Star Wars characters, but I know that's like a drop in the bucket, really.
I think it's really cool too because as you watch through it, I feel like I did develop like certain like wow, I really like this character. Like the episodes with like Darth Maul and Savage, right? You know what I'm talking about? It was funny because as we were watching that series, anytime they were in one of the episodes, I was like, I really like the episodes with them. They just build a character really well, and it makes it so enjoyable. And I feel like you like resonate towards like certain series and certain like characters in the series.
They gave Savage and Darth Maul, and this is in the Clone Wars. They gave them a lot more. Like when
Yeah.
he shows up in episode 1, it was just cool. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Right.
He was just a
Yeah.
cool looking villain and stuff like that. No discount to Ray Park or anything like that. Like he's a cool martial artist, all that kind of stuff. He's got 2 lines in the movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When
Not a lot.
when they do Darth Maul in the animated series, like he's a very major character in how everything plays out all throughout the Clone Wars and all the way up into episode 4. And then he actually shows up later
Yeah.
in like episode, what would that be?
I don't remember.
In between episode 4 and 5, when Star Wars Rebels is taking place, and he shows up in that, and he plays a huge part in that, and you have all these Darth Maul fanboys and nobody ever understood why, but there is actually like a whole lot of, writing and things that, were for him that you don't get unless you watch all this other content.
It's true. And they give you like his background. They give you the planet he's from.
Right.
They
and
develop that.
Savage is actually his brother, and he was, given abilities and things like that by the Night Sisters, and like how he was actually supposed to become Count Dooku's Padawan, and all these different things like that. So, there's a whole really cool story behind that whole thing. And Clancy Brown does the voice of Savage. Clancy Brown is, he's done voices for everything. He's actually got a whole nother character in Star Wars Rebels that led him into having a actual live action appearance in Ahsoka. there's things like that, like cool little snippets and stuff like
it's
that.
neat
you
to see the difference
and-
between like the cartoon Ahsoka and the real, like the live action Ahsoka.
Yeah. I mean, they did have to make her grown up and like go past because of, like Ahsoka in the Clone Wars was just prominent throughout the entire thing again. And, the girl that does her voice is nothing like the one that does the voice in live action. There's just a ton of time and effort and things that you can see if, you actually cared to spend the time. Like it's there, don't get me wrong. There's filler episodes, just like everything else.
Sure.
Like, there's 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, but the 7th season is great. I mean, and they didn't make it at the same time as the first 6. I don't know if you know that or not. It got canceled on Cartoon Network. And they
feel like I remember hearing that.
Yeah, there was like all the fans kept fighting, to bring it back. And then they brought it back and they tied it perfectly right into Order 66 between at the very end of episode 3. And they tied it in just perfectly, so they ended the Clone Wars perfectly with Revenge of the Sith. And it was great the way they did it. And it ties right into, like, picks up right where Rogue One is. So yeah, it's cool.
Star Wars is cool.
Yeah, Star Wars is cool.
I'll second that.
It's
when in chronological order.
the really cool thing about it is now it's 3 generations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have my generation from the 80s, and then you got your 2000s generation that got, episodes 1, 2, and 3, and everybody from the 80s hated 1, 2, and 3 when it first came out. And so maybe one day we'll all like 7, 8, and 9. Not now, but
right.
Who knows? Maybe one day we'll go back and be able to stay awake watching them. But
that's one of the reasons we haven't watched the last one.
It's just
it's hard for Matt.
It is. It's hard. All the other content that's around it, all the stuff that Dave Filoni is doing and stuff like that's been great. But those 3 movies are just. I could even the first one I could be like, okay, episode 7 I could do it, but man, The Last Jedi, I almost like just never wanted to watch Star Wars again. That movie's just so hard to watch. And they ruined so many things, and then they tried to fix it in the last one, and it's just like, ugh.
All right, so speaking of Star Wars, that will be our trivia question for today.
What you got?
All right, the trivia question for today, number 1 is, and I had to think of questions that Matt might not know, and I don't know if he knows this one or not. I was like, do I have to do trivia today? Because Matt's going to definitely get a point. So we'll see if he knows this one. The question is, and this is inspired because we have a giant at Lego set to put together at some point.
6,700 pieces.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's a big one. So the question is, what does at stand for?
AT-AT. At.
AT-AT.
How do you pronounce it, Matt?
At.
Okay. All right. I just don't want to frustrate anybody. That's
No.
Okay.
You can say it either way.
All right. Well, we'll think on that and come back to that question later after the break. Support for Mamalukes is brought to you by Aspire Drinks. Looking for an energy drink that doesn't give you jitters and that inevitable crash? Aspire is redefining energy drinks with a better, healthier way to power your day. Unlike most energy drinks that are loaded with excessive caffeine and sugar, Aspire delivers a gentle, balanced boost with 80 milligrams of natural caffeine, half the caffeine of most leading energy drinks. Packed with essential vitamins and enhanced with biotin and ginger, the benefits are a no-brainer. They're enjoyable for any moment, at work, the gym, or on the go. Order now with free U.S. shipping. Find them at aspiredrinks.com and use our promo code Mamalukes to get 20% off anything on your order. That's aspiredrinks.com and promo code Mamalukes to get 20% off your order. And we're back. And we go to Matt for Sportsball.
Sportsball, January 1st, 2026.
January 2nd.
Is that
January 2nd.
Is that not what I said?
You said first.
Did I really?
You really did.
Oh, no.
Well, we're editing that out. Let's try that again.
We're going to keep that.
We're going to keep that as the opener.
What fucking day is it? You tell
Man,
us.
it's only been 2 days and you already forgot.
Here, let me have another one of these.
And we're back. And we go to Matt with Sportsball.
Sportsball. Sportsball update, January 2nd, 2026. So we always like to start off with our Cleveland sports around here. Last week, the Browns beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Myles Garrett did not get the sack record yet. This is game number 3 with needing one more sack. So hopefully he gets it this week. The Cavs beat the Suns. Mitchell scored 34 in that game. The Guardians signed 2 pitchers, Sean Armstrong and Colin Holderman. Sean Armstrong got like a $5.5 million contract, and it's a 1-year deal. And then Colin Holderman got like a $2.1 million contract, also a 1-year deal. And speaking of Cleveland Guardians pitchers, they still have 2 that are in legal trouble, and they finally announced when the court date is, and it is in May.
Yeah, that's kind of getting ridiculous at this point.
So that'll be almost a year, and it's into the beginning of the season. So that's disappointing. So we will not be with Clase or Ortiz to start the season.
What did they do?
They gambled on their own pitches, supposedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. They both are pleading innocent, so allegedly.
It's like spot fixing, I think is the term, where I guess the bets that were like flagged was something like, they're like prop bets, I think.
Yeah.
So it was like, what is the first pitch in the inning going to be? And, you know, if it's like,
If he would throw a ball and then like
ball
it
strike.
it was so bad of a ball. Or Ortiz's were blatant. Class A really struggled after coming off of a great year in 23 and being like, you know, closer of reliever of the year or closer of the year or whatever it was. And
24. Is it 24?
yeah, I guess it was 24. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 25, he struggled. Well, he struggled in the playoffs against the Yankees.
Yeah.
And then just from there, it was almost like he was shook.
He needs a third pitch.
So the NFL. So we've had some updates. The 49ers are in 5th, and they play the Seattle Seahawks this week, who are in 1st. And whichever team wins that game will be in 1st. So they could swap places. They could stay where they're at. Those positions are up in the air. Position number 2 and number 3 will depend on what happens this week, whether Green Bay the Bears stay in 2nd, or Philly. If the Bears lose and Philly wins, Philly could possibly move up to the 2 spot. And then the 4th seed is the interesting one. So Carolina and Tampa Bay played 2 weeks ago, and Carolina won. If Tampa Bay would have won that game, then they would have clinched, but they did not. So then last week, both teams lost.
Yep.
So they are both 8-8.
No, I think Carolina's 9-7, Tampa Bay's 8-8. But if
Tampa Bay will have the tiebreaker if they win.
correct,
So whichever one of those 2 wins will win that pitiful NFC South division, and they will be the 4 seed. And the only team in the NFC that has actually knows where they're going to be playing or knows what seed they're going to play in is Green Bay. So the 7 seed is locked in. That's the only one that's for sure. So when you move over to the AFC, everybody's been decided who's going to be there except for the winner of the AFC North, which is Pittsburgh or the Ravens, and they play this week. So the winner of that game will make the playoffs, and they will be the 4 seed in the AFC. NCAA football. We mentioned we watched the Ohio State-Miami game. I got my Miami Hurricanes colors on today here for support of beating Ohio State. And that's the only time you'll ever hear me root for the Hurricanes is just because they beat Ohio State. Yeah, sorry. And then the Oregon Texas Tech game went about how everybody expected. Oregon absolutely annihilated Texas Tech. They shut them out. Alabama got stomped by Indiana, proving that Alabama shouldn't have been in the playoff. And then the really good game of the week was actually the Georgia and Ole Miss game. That was a really good game. And it came down to the end of the fourth quarter with seconds left to go in the game. Ole Miss kicked a field goal to take the lead. They were up, I think it was 37-34. And then they kicked off, and Georgia tried to do like the Stanford Baden play and like threw the ball laterally behind them, but threw the ball out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah, that
out of
doesn't
the
work.
side of the end zone and got a safety.
Yep.
So the game actually ended on a safety, and it was 39-34. But up until that point, it was a very, very good game. And Ole Miss trailed for a good portion of that game and came back. At one point, I think Georgia was up like 21-3 or something like that. So that was a good game. So the college bracket going forward, it should be interesting. There's one team that was expected to be pretty much, well, actually two teams that are actually where they were supposed to be, which is Indiana and Oregon. They will play. And then Ole Miss and Miami will play, which both of those teams were expected to lose. So they're kind of like the Cinderella teams going in. So that'll be interesting. Then moving on, we'll go to the NHL. The Avs and the Stars are still dominating everybody. It's pretty much them and then everybody else. But the interesting thing is in the next 10 days, both of them have to play the top 10 teams in the East. So like the Avs play a bunch of teams in the Metropolitan Division, and the Stars have to play a bunch of teams in the Pacific Division. So there'll be a lot of cross-conference play there. The Wild are doing really well. They made a couple of moves, including getting the Hughes brother.
Right.
They're doing very well. Detroit is the one that's surprising everybody. Detroit's on like a 9 or a 10 game winning streak right now. And then Carolina is still up there too. And the Devils continue to lose. So there's that. They won on New Year's Eve, but it's not going to help them the way they've been playing. So, and then I was asked by somebody that watches the podcast, I got a little bit of feedback.
Ooh.
They told me to mention soccer in the Sportsball update. So since I know nothing of soccer, I did have to look this up. And the main news is that Chelsea fired their head coach. They placed fourth in the Premier League last year. It was his first full year as a coach, and they fired him anyway. And I guess it's differences between management and coaching styles. But that was pretty big news. He was not actually, when they signed him, I guess I was reading the article, and they basically said that, they never expected him to be the long-term coach. So he kind of knew what he was in for, but then he did really well last year, and everybody was like, oh, maybe they'll sign him to a long-term deal. But now they're just going to have to pay him out because they fired him. So it's going to be how much money are they going to give him to basically fade off into the distance. So, and another interesting thing with soccer coaches is they kind of sign like a do not compete. So normally when they leave a club or they get fired from a club, they can't immediately pick up on another club
Sure.
that's like in the Premier
Yeah.
League or something like that. So I don't know what his contract details were. I'm kind of waiting to see if he's going to end up showing somewhere, because he's been a winning coach from what I read. So it'd be kind of interesting to see where he ends up, and then how much money they have to pay him to not be in the Premier League or whatever it is. So
Right. We'll get picked up, just not yet.
right.
Yeah.
So that's all I know about soccer, because that was the main headline when I opened it up. So we'll try and add a little bit of that in there for the foosball fans.
Foosball.
So
We played a little foosball. Not foosball, ping pong.
yeah,
That's not the same
no,
thing.
not
But
at all.
we played some ping pong on New Year's, and
You're looking at the champ.
well, that's not what I was going to talk about. I was just going to talk about, man, I'm sore. But then you thought, no, it was because we shoveled the driveway. I'm like, babe, I played 6 games in a row or something like that. I think that's why I'm sore.
I feel like snow's heavier than a ping pong ball.
I think my body's heavier because I was running around.
Well, you need to put some
He-
more
he-
effort
he
into
put his
that
back
shoveling
into it.
snow.
Okay. Well. Oh boy. Another inside joke, if I'm just going to have to tell this story. The one time I happened to make a weird sound, it just turned into this whole thing where, so I was diving for the ping pong ball and I had to go get it. And I was like, ah,
Matt, no, you do the sound.
but maybe a little more
You make the
effeminate
motion.
than that.
Matt makes the sound.
Okay, here we go, Matt. 1, 2, 3. And, you know, it's a thing now. So
Anytime you want to throw somebody off.
Yeah, when you're in the middle
Throw
of
it
a
in there.
game and you get like a nice lob to you and you can put some power behind it, you go,
you did it at least once when we were playing the other night.
yeah.
So,
I would always remember at some point
Yeah.
to do it at least once. So
Right.
Just to keep it alive.
well, that's our sports ball update. And now we're going to be moving on into your brain with Alysha.
Well, this is my brain, but also your brain.
Okay. Tell us.
This topic has come up a few times recently between a couple of friends and I. Currently last night playing a game. The name Kenyatta came up and I was like, I know that name from somewhere. And my friend and I were like, oh, that's a girl we went to school with. I'm like, oh yeah, Kenyatta Littlejohn, if you're out there. I remembered your name. And so did Brittany. So super random. And it's like, why can you remember random things like that from your youth, but you don't know what you ate for dinner last night? Well, I'm going to tell you.
All right.
Friend also was sending me an audio message singing Ludacris, What's Your Fantasy? Which I've sung that to Luke. It's just like another random song that lives in your brain rent free. So again, why can I remember every word to a handful of songs from my youth, but I do not remember what I ate for dinner this week? Well, factors like emotion, identity, rhythm and melody, and repetition all come into play. So your emotion, what emotions came up and how did they make you feel when you listened to the song? Identity, what parts of the song that I personally resonate with, or hell, it's just fun to be able to sing all the gangster rap with your friends. Right, Matt?
I don't know. I know no.
I know, no. The rhythm and the melody, it's literally structuring your brainwaves, repetition. I definitely listen to that specific song over and over, or I've heard it on the radio way too many times. But back to the food. It's why you remember your grandma's homemade soup. You tasted the love and you remembered how she presented it to you. It's not just about the soup, but the experience of being cared for. So unless you made some amazing food for your family that you were proud to serve, your brain wasn't impressed either. I'm a huge foodie. It's my love language, and why I gladly ask and accept home-cooked meals. Matt, for my birthday, he made us all eggplant and chicken parmesan. Very nice.
Well, I think you were saying something earlier today when we were cooking, something about all the spices on the spice rack. You know how much someone cooks when you have this many spices.
Well, and you need more.
And yeah, you're just constantly running out of
Right.
something.
You can tell a lot about a person by their spice rack.
Don't look at mine.
Salt.
That's all you need. Salt.
It's my love language, and why I gladly ask and accept the experience or the end result of being thought of, cared and cooked for, and sitting down and enjoying it together. Another friend talking about an article she read about how people store memories in each room of their house in their brain. The method of loci is a technique for memorizing information by placing a visual item to be remembered at a point along an imagery journey. Building a personal memory house. Each memory becomes stored in a specific room, if you will. You mentally place information and memories in specific areas in your house. To recall the memory, you simply walk through the house in your mind. For me, it explains why my dreams often happen in rooms or houses and or locations that feel familiar. And also why my childhood home still feels so near. My brain is loaded with so many memories of it. Now, what was I going to say? Where did I put my keys? And why did I walk into this room?
Yeah, those are common questions that we ask ourselves. But then we remember all these crazy other things that, like, why do I remember that?
So many songs. Like, how many songs can you sing, Luke?
What does AT-AT stand for?
That's right.
How many songs can I sing? I mean, if you ask me, I'm like, I don't know. But like, as soon as I start to hear the rhythm or the beat of like the intro of a song or something, I'm like, know that one. Yeah. Music, I think, has a lot of like memory related things.
Absolutely.
Like, I think people with like Alzheimer's have like
Dementia.
heard, that's
and
what I mean.
Alzheimer's, probably.
Probably both. Where like, yeah, they'll forget like key things or people in their lives, but then, you know, their favorite song from 50 years ago comes on and they'll be like, yeah, just all the lyrics.
Never been great at remembering lyrics, but like I'll hear a soundtrack from a movie come on and I won't even be in the room and I'll be like, oh, I know what's on.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know the first word.
So like, you know, I mean, and there, again, like you said, the emotion, the things that go into it, you know, and stuff like that. Like, I'm not ashamed to say, you know, like I was like 12 when Jurassic Park came out, and me and my mom went to the theater and saw it like 4 times in the theater, you know, and like I played that soundtrack in band when I was in band in 7th and 8th grade, you know, and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, hearing that brings back out just a wave of memories and stuff, you know. But yeah, I'd say with like movie soundtracks and stuff like that, you know, I know music, you know, but I can't say that, you know, like you can remember all the lyrics to something and stuff.
Right.
I'm not great at that, but yeah, I mean, music's a big one.
Yeah. It's crazy, some of the studies that are out there for how music stimulates your brain. And it's excellent for memory. Really, anything set to music is a lot easier to memorize if has like a rhythm and a tune to it.
It's all about the feels.
And I've actually, I had somebody that I used to know who put into practice that method that you were talking about with the house and the rooms. And it was very effective for them. So I think that's an interesting thing to bring up.
What exactly were they doing?
So essentially you can put it into practice for anything you memorize, really. And you are, because especially if you're like a visual learner, like I'm curious when we're talking about this, sometimes men tend to be more visual. I'm curious, like if gender has anything, like if it's more effective for certain genders or anything like that. But essentially you are picturing a house. It can be a mansion or it can have however many rooms you want. And then you walk into a room, you picture yourself walking into a room. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of correct me if I'm wrong, but then whichever way you turn or however you go into the house, whatever you're trying to memorize, is it a physical object that you place there?
Well, not physical.
Well, I mean, like in
image.
your, well, true. But the image of something physical is placed there.
It's just an image. It's just like, I would say, like why people love video games. So you open the screen, you have a character.
Yeah.
You can just have all of the descripting details of this character. And then once you start the game, you can see the background. And then you have
The world they're in and all of that.
So basically, it's like, where did I put my sword, if you will? You're allowed to place it somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I knew somebody that memorized scripture that way. So like, for example, to kind of look at how, like, for example, if you have like the Gospels, for example, like the book of Luke,
Aha.
Haha. So if you say like chapter 1 is about this and you have like a general topic and you walk into the room and have something that makes you think of that, then you go to the second room and it's chapter 2. And then you can kind of have an idea of what, like if you're looking for something specific, you can find it a lot
Right.
easier that way. And then I had another friend who, that's how they memorize people's names. They had trouble memorizing people's names. And so they told me they think of something that reminds them of their name. Like I was extra virgin olive oil.
Oh, hey.
So, I don't know. It's interesting. Your mind is an interesting thing. I have a terrible time memorizing things. So I've never actually tried this, but it would be interesting.
Yeah, just so we're clear, I've never practiced this method, but I do love it. I would say that's how I have like a half-ass photographic memory is. Not like just reading the room, but like with my eyes. Like, oh, I remember this is in this spot. Like if I'm one of those people, if somebody moves something, I notice.
I feel
Okay,
like
what's happening here?
to some
Something's
extent,
off.
we all kind of subconsciously do some of this.
Oh yeah. But this method specifically, I have not practiced it, but I read a couple of articles. Have not fallen down the rabbit hole yet.
I think the closest thing I could think of not practicing this, but there's like certain soundtracks of music that if I'm listening to them, I'm like, oh yeah, I was driving to this place at this time and I was at this spot wherever I was at when I was listening to this one song. And I'm like, why do I remember that?
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Or I remember like when the first Chipotle opened up, it was in Kent. That was the closest one. And I went with my friend Melissa. She was older. So she was driving and she had like this teal Ford Escape or something. You know what I mean? It's like, why do I remember all of these details about Chipotle or my first burrito? Like, so weird.
It's the food.
It's the food, yeah.
I guess it was just the experience. Like, ooh, we're going to Kent, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
And it was super packed. I don't know if you guys remember that Chipotle. The line's always out the door. It used to be
I don't know if I've ever been to that one.
before online ordering. Oh, just in general.
Oh,
Chipotle was
Oh yeah.
a hot commodity.
Chipotle was
Back
the
in the
hot
day.
thing before Chick-fil-A showed up and took everything over.
Yeah.
This show's getting too controversial.
Trying to think of a clever transition here.
What are we going to?
AI in schools.
Oh, speaking of your brain, now you have somebody to think for you. Something? Somebody?
Yes.
Somebody's brains?
So
Somebody once told me.
I've mentioned on the podcast before that I am a person that's into tech. And last week I was talking about YouTube and how all that works and Netflix and blah, blah, blah. This week I was looking at how AI, artificial intelligence, is slowly being adapted in the schools. I mean, it's being adapted into everything anymore, but
Literally everything.
gradually being accepted. So, there's governments around the world that are rapidly introducing generative AI in the schools and universities, often in partnership with major U.S. tech companies. If you can think of a tech company, they probably have their hands and feet and their whole body really into AI just because of how much of a boom it is anymore. You have Microsoft with their AI tools. Microsoft, you can think of off the top of my head as Copilot, which you might see in their Windows operating system or in their Office products. They're training hundreds of thousands of students and educators in the United Arab Emirates and Thailand. You have OpenAI, ChatGPT. They're in Kazakhstan and India. And you have XAI, which is Elon Musk's AI company. They plan to build an AI tutoring system for more than 1 million students in El Salvador. And so the people that support these programs argue that these AI chatbots can save teachers time and personalize learning and prepare students for an AI-driven economy, which, yes, everything is adapting AI, so it is good to know about it for sure. And yeah, they're saying it's accelerating a global push to embed these technologies into education systems for the better. Of course, at the same time, you have educators, researchers, and children's advocates that are raising red flags about all of this. So it's being suggested that heavy reliance on AI chatbots may weaken critical thinking, spread misinformation, enable a bunch of cheaters on all these tests. Groups like UNICEF caution that the current enthusiasm with all this adoption of AI, it sounds pretty similar to the whole one laptop per child initiative that was, I can't remember how long ago. It just didn't work, basically, despite what the original plan was proposed as. I don't know if it's an easy comparison, comparing that to AI nowadays, but it wasted money, it wasted people's time, and now the critics are saying that unguided AI use could just make everybody stupid, make students and teachers equally not so
over the world.
Yeah. People keep saying, AI is going to take over the world if we let it. And so
it's unregulated.
Right. There needs to be guardrails. There needs to be, more evidence-based stuff that we can look at and say, yeah, is this actually a good thing or not? And so across these experiments, educators, researchers agree that AI can be useful. There are some useful things. But its role in learning is, it's scary, I think. It needs safeguards, and it needs to actually support people and not undermine us. So that, we can actually stay human and think and not lose what we actually are. So I don't know. What do you guys think, I guess, in terms of just general AI usage? What do you think is the more useful things that it can do for us, compared to, not just talking about school, but what do you think AI can actually be useful for? Is there anything off the top of your head?
I mean, right off the top of my head, the search engine is better.
Okay.
When you use AI search in Google, it actually takes more of a context of what you're typing into it, and it's a smarter result.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I see with it, just right off the rip, anytime I type anything into Google anymore on my phone, I automatically switch over and look at the AI search first, because
the thing that shows up at the top.
Yeah. It's more intuitive to what you're actually looking for than just a general Google search.
So I listen to a few tech podcasts. So these are a lot of tech head people, and they would argue with you up and down that that's the first thing they skip.
Really?
Because there's a lot of things. It depends on what you're searching, but there's a lot of things where that AI summary that comes up at the top of Google, for example, there's a lot of times where it's just not accurate. So it depends what you're looking for. But say you're trying to write a research paper. You're a student in this case, and you're trying to get very black and white general facts about something. Yes, you should get some good results. But as soon as you start to introduce the context of this and that, especially with modern things, who was at this one place at this one time at this one event, and what did they do? And I'm trying to think of an example
You're saying the more specific you are, the less accurate it is?
Right, because it's taking on a lot of information to get you that more specific answer. And so depending on the information it's taking in, it might miss context. And then it'll say like, oh yeah, this actor was in this movie and when they were definitely not.
See, I haven't seen that. No, I have seen like, okay, when my search is, my search history, whatever, is broader. It's not, I'm not looking for exact information to debate a topic or something like that. You know what I mean? So I guess I'm looking for
hard and fast answers,
yeah,
I guess.
I mean, yeah, just something, like the other day when I said, our trivia question from last week, how many Christmas movies are made a year?
Sure.
Well, when you Google that, you get there's thousands of Christmas movies, lifetime Christmas movies, 80 different topics that are not, generally what you're looking for. So if you click on the AI thing, it comes up. There's 30 to 40 Christmas movies made every year.
Right.
Did I fact check that? No, I didn't. Am I fact checking?
You sabotaged our trivia.
Well, so what am I fact checking it against?
I was right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's
so. I mean,
check it again.
So that's my thing. It's like, I'm looking for broad strokes, but I just want to type something in where I don't get, they take one keyword based off of what I said and give me 15 things that have nothing to do with that. That's, I guess, so I'm not writing a paper. I'm not looking to fact check somebody 90% of the time. You know what I mean? So and I understand when it searches something, and this has been my argument forever with politics and everything else, if you want to say something on the internet, or if you want the internet to back up your point of view, I guess is what I'm saying, you can find an article out there to back up anything you want to say.
100.
Sure.
So maybe that's what they're saying. If you're very specific in something, you can find bad information on the internet to back up, your opinion.
Well, that's probably one of the factors too, is who's the source or what is the original source. I think a lot of it too, though, is the idea that the more we start to use these tools, like say
they become reliant on them.
Right. So say you're like a writer for a newspaper or whatever news publication, like, hey, I need to write this article on this. And you get an AI summary and then they like pick it apart and then whatever, they edit it, shoot it out to the world. Okay. And then you have somebody searching with AI.
See, that was integrity in journalism. Like that's been a thing for a long time.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
You shouldn't do that.
Right.
But do you think everybody's not going to do that?
No, I mean, I know there's kids right now that have to write a midterm paper or something like that, or, a finals paper, and they're using AI to, generally, and they're trying to take 15 words out of it and scramble it so it's not immediately picked up. But, there's teachers have software now too that's supposed to recognize that it is AI.
Yep. Yeah.
So as long as that keeps up with it, you can keep honesty in it. But, I mean, if it's out there, somebody's going to try and use it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Just like the videos. I think the videos is one of the best things, best examples. We're not going to be able to tell what's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It started out at
unless
first.
They have two arms like some of the AI videos.
Yeah, it started out at first where we had, these AI generated videos and we're like, that's totally not real. You can tell this person has 7 fingers, this. But yeah, it's clearly advanced to a point where like people can type in a prompt or a description and be like, hey, I want this person to do this at this place at this time with this lighting with these other people, and it'll output something, a lot of cases, pretty accurate.
Even the stupid app that's on your phone, that you can edit photos with and stuff like that with AI, you could take a group of people and say, put a UFO behind the person on the left.
All right.
So, I mean, it's getting there where it's just readily accessible with very minimal prompt.
I like Google Lens. Is that AI, right? Because you're taking a photo of something that you like. For example, I want to find a specific vintage sweater, but I want to find it in a different size or see if I could find it online.
Right. So you're searching with an image, basically.
Yeah, I like image searching.
I'm sure nowadays AI does power that.
It does, yeah. Because that's how I've used it. There's been a couple of times where like Matt got me flowers the one time and I was like, what is this? And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, ChatGPT. And I just took a picture and then it tells you what it is and it tells you why it can identify it as that flower or whatever.
Do you use specifically ChatGPT or do you use Google Lens?
That one was ChatGPT.
Okay. Yeah, I use Google Lens for pictures.
And like I did that, there was a bird that was like across the street at my house and we took a picture and asked what the bird was.
Well, what kind of bird was it?
It was a hawk.
A red tail?
A red-tailed. Yeah, okay. It was a red-tailed hawk.
I'm also
Did
a birdie.
Did you see this picture in my phone?
It's AI. I can see everything
generated
now.
by
does
Alysha.
AI stand for Alysha?
Intelligence.
What it feels like.
Glad she helped you out on that.
Clearly, I'm not the one that's AI.
Does AI stand for Alysha?
Intelligence.
I was trying to think of an I word.
Oh, I thought you meant helped out with the red-tailed hawk.
No.
She was like, how many kinds are there?
She searched on her phone and then you were like, must help Virginia.
She needs me. My bird eyes.
You're a superhero?
It's not your third eye, it's your bird eye.
Oh my God, I need that tattooed now.
AI is definitely something. And I feel like that's like the main thing I've used it for, honestly. And of course, like, what do I look like on safari or as a mermaid or something stupid like that as they come up. But as far as education and AI, I definitely have some things to say as a teacher. And it's, I have a few stories. First of all, like my brother's also a teacher and he has described to me, he lives in a different state, but he has seen like a huge influx and he teaches at a high school level. So it's a little different because I'm at an elementary level. And I mean, he sees it every day. And it's very much like, to your point, it being a problem, he'll address the students and say, hey, what's going on here kind of thing. Or like he'll ask for a certain assignment and it'll answer something completely different.
Right.
But they'll just turn it in because they're like, well, AI did it. It's, it's a solid.
It must be good.
Yes, it must be good. And so he's definitely seen a lot of that and had to deal with that quite a bit. I have a story of one of my students because I just thought it was great because he had turned in an assignment and it was just, there were sentences and it was very clearly not written by him. And so I addressed him and said, hey, did you use the internet to help you with this? And he was like, no. And I'm like, oh, I said, you wrote these completely on your own? And he was like, well, no, I had a little bit of help. And I said, well, did you use the internet to help you? Or, what kind of help did you have? And he was like, ChatGPT. And I was like, yeah. So we had to talk about the fact that it's the same thing. And it's so funny to see. Again, it's just this generation. And like to Matt's point, if it's out there, they're going to take advantage of it. But if you really think about it, this is no different than, say, a calculator, right? Because it's a tool that was out there. And for the longest time, what students wanted to use their calculator to find the answers, and teachers would be like, no, you can't use a calculator because we need you to know it.
There's a difference between a calculator and ChatGPT.
It's true, but it's the same.
A calculator is going to allow you to not remember,
a times table.
Yeah, a times table, basically. Exactly. That's all it's going to do. You still have to program the information incorrectly and stuff like that. ChatGPT, you don't even have to have an idea.
That's true.
It's just going to populate. And the thing that I like is, and that I'm, kids will catch on, but they're not yet, is like they can tell how fast a paper was populated. so they can see if it was generated by AI, like how, because kids aren't smart enough to put it on their phone and then retype it into the computer.
Right.
They're just copying and pasting it directly into a computer, so they're getting caught that way. There's lots of ways that they're fighting it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's horrible.
Yeah, and I will say different districts have different policies about AI and how it's used in the classroom and things like that. I know personally on like the teacher end, it can be extremely helpful with like things like show me an assignment that uses higher level thinking. You can be very specific and it populates something that can create an idea that you can use in your classroom. I've seen teachers who, when they're writing comments on report cards, will say, generate a report card comment for a student who struggles with comprehension and is excelling in 2-digit multiplication or something like that.
Sure.
Just so that, they have an idea and it makes the teacher's life easier, because then obviously a good teacher is going to look at that comment, insert it, and change it to be specific for that child. And it still technically is. It's just they're given the wording and all that. So there are some ways on the teacher end that it can definitely like.
It sounds exactly like what the kids are doing with it.
Well, it's valid. You're not wrong. I personally have not done that.
Your own tool.
Yeah, the teacher doesn't have to think when they're putting comments in anymore. Like they can just insert whatever ChatGPT tells them to.
I mean, you have a point.
Yeah,
and the thing is, I really haven't used that a whole lot in the classroom myself, but I mean, it's out there, and that's the thing that I know. Like what
I said,
Oh, that for me using it.
Yeah.
Check my search history. Just AI, ChatGPT, erase my search history. No, I'm just kidding. I really haven't used it, but I think a lot of schools and what I've heard primarily is to find, because it's out there, students are going to find it, they're going to use it. And so a lot of schools are taking the approach, so show them how to use it properly. And I think the struggle in my own personal classroom is helping them recognize when AI is appropriate and when it's not. And that I think is the thing that, I mean, obviously, so like you want students to know content, you're trying to teach them certain things. But at the end of the day, I think what you really need to be teaching students is integrity. That's the bottom line, because there are tools out there all over that you can misuse. But how do you get them to recognize, here is a time when it's appropriate to use it and it's okay, and here is a time when it's not. And I do think that it being so readily available and accessible to them is helping them to recognize that they don't have to put in the effort. You know what I mean? And it's too tempting almost. Like it's not helping them to really have like their own creativity and thought process, because it's much easier just to say, hey, ChatGPT, write me an essay that I can turn in. And there's no original thinking.
Right.
And that is the part I think that is frustrating for me as a teacher, because obviously that's what you're trying to encourage in a classroom. And AI really does not allow for that, because it's so tempting to students. At least that's my experience with it. And how do you counteract that? Again, I think it's just, and it's an uphill battle, honestly, because I can tell a student all day long, hey, even though these are really excellent sentences that you turned into me, that you didn't use the internet for, you used ChatGPT, they're not yours. And you have no idea still how to use this word.
Right.
You just created this sentence for. And I think it just doesn't click. It's like, yeah, but why do I need to know that? I can just always search on ChatGPT. And back to the like calculator example, what did people used to say? Well, calculators are like teachers used to say, what are you going to do when you don't have a calculator? Right?
Right. You're not going to carry a calculator everywhere around you.
No. So I don't know, but and again, there are some arguments out there. Well, won't they always have ChatGPT out there? Like, why do they need to know this information
Right.
when ChatGPT can just tell them? And I mean, really, to your point, it's because it makes you less intelligent.
Yeah.
I mean, why do we not want to have an intelligent society?
Or original thoughts.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the point you brought up about like, okay, we're going to have them like figure out how to use AI properly, use it as a tool,
Mm-hmm.
not as a solution.
Right.
That popped in my head. I can remember like years ago when I had to write papers in school. The big thing that was happening at the time was Wikipedia. You can't use Wikipedia as a source. It's not a
reliable.
source because
Mhm.
anybody can edit it. Anybody can change things. But you could use Wikipedia to find how to get to those sources that are actually legitimate and actually what you actually need to reference and figure out, the original information, where it's coming from, not just, source Wikipedia. I know it's not the same, but that's the thing that kind of resonates with me is that Wikipedia, it's supposed to be a tool. It's not the solution.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, when you guys were talking about it, what was going through my head, which I don't know, maybe it sounds like a terrible teacher thing to say, but I was thinking to myself, honestly, I don't know. There are certain like websites and things that are reliable sources and ones that are not considered reliable sources. And honestly, I don't know because of how you guys were talking about ChatGPT and how accurate it is. I really don't know if that is really, I mean, I don't exactly, like, this is going to sound stupid, but is ChatGPT just basically searching anywhere on the internet for information and populating it based on popularity or like?
Whoever programmed it gives it a certain criteria of information that it can pull.
Right.
So it's not like it's just like anything www dot, is whatever.
So technically ChatGPT is programmed to pull from a reliable source in
No,
theory?
not necessarily a reliable source, but from a range of like, it may discount certain things.
Right.
But it's a range of information, which could still be bad information.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it could be information that it's not supposed to have.
Yeah.
Well, you see all these articles about like, specifically with like image generation where, what's the Studio Ghibli films where like you have all these different images that are like, oh, make an image of this character as if they were like an anime character in this film or whatever. And the source material that it has to go off of, which maybe it should, maybe it probably shouldn't because it's not allowed because nobody got the licensing for the AI to use that information. They got a hold of that data anyway, and it's feeding that AI hive mind, whatever you want to call it. And then it's generating stuff that it's otherwise should know how to generate. And then people get into trouble there where, I mean, that's at a much larger commercial scale, but it really just depends on what information is available to it, basically.
Okay, so for example, if you're writing an essay and you're referencing sources, if you're pulling information from AI, which pulls information from wherever, can you really even reference that?
As a teacher, would you credit it?
No, I would not.
Well,
no, but and then I guess, and to my point, I think if a teacher knows their students really well, like I can usually tell if a student pulled this from, I mean, even if it's not AI specifically or ChatGPT, there are many times where I go to a student and address something with them because I'm like, I know my students,
right,
and
right.
so.
Well, you're doing it the right way.
Some
what's
days I
funny
wonder.
is like they always talk about like, movies tell you stuff that's going to happen before you know about it. Like things that the government have. Like, do you remember
Yeah.
the movie Eagle Eye back in the day?
Yep.
So,
Or Idiocracy is one, right?
well, yeah, we'll get to Idiocracy. I mean, we're definitely working toward that, but Eagle Eye is not a parody. It's actually, it talks about how it's basically an AI brain, and it can access, every camera, everything in the world, and it can start working towards things. This was 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that movie was like 2002, probably 2003. Like that's, 20 something years ago. And they knew that this was coming.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Enemy of the State with Will Smith and I can't remember the guy's name that he just passed away that was in it with Gene Hackman. There was another movie where the guy basically lived in a bunker because he knew that the government could track every cell phone call, and this is before the general public knew all this, before it was all common knowledge and things like that. So what we're getting is 10 years after. This is the AI, what they're doing with it in the military, what they're doing with it with communicating with satellites, what they're monitoring our phones and, how they can hear everything we say, and it gets programmed into basically a profile online, and we have this persona online of how we're tracked by keystrokes and what we buy, what we say, what we do, where we go,
how long we look at an image,
and how all that information is sold to different countries, and how it's sold to retailers, and how it's sold to all this other stuff. Like we're just starting to find this stuff out.
It's being sold to those AI companies.
Yeah, and it's like it's probably so far beyond what we actually know about or what we can do with it. We're probably, like I said, best example, we're probably 10 years behind what's actually out there and readily available. It's just nobody found a way to cost effectively put it out to the public yet. And like what they're doing with stuff now with, Chat GPT and getting you guys to use stuff and stuff like that, it's just all testing. We're just monkeys. They're just testing us to make sure that this is how it's going to interact with the population and what it's going to do and how it's going to react and stuff like that. Like it's all unregulated, and it's a scary thing. I mean, you've got the Terminator, you've got the Matrix, and I mean, there's all these things where they talk about AI taking over and computers taking over because we give it access to everything. Idiocracy is a great one because that's what you guys are basically we're working toward. Mm-hmm. No original thought. Mm-hmm. Something's going to tell us what to think. Something's going to tell us what to do. And like you said, you've got kids already that are just like, well, that's what ChatGPT said. Yeah. So, that's what I'm going to go by. It's not unrealistic.
Yeah.
So
I think the other scary thing, we had a teacher in service, and somebody was introducing uses for AI and things like that. And one of the things that they did is they took a picture of my boss and they put like 5 different movie posters with her as the lead character. And it didn't, it looked like her, but it was her boxing. And then it was just her doing all these different things. Right. And she walked in the room and didn't notice at first. And then she saw, she looked around and she was like, she was startled because it was a picture of her, and she was like, where did that come from? And then she looked at these other ones, and, it was in good fun and we had a good laugh about it. But there's this other side of it where somebody took a picture of somebody else and chose to put it in this other image. It's scary to think that somebody could just, how many of us have photos out there online? Everyone, right?
Pretty much.
And somebody could just take that. With we're looking at you, Alysha. How many pictures do you have on the internet that somebody's going to steal?
Put on us online?
But it's wild to think, in this age when you have all of these stolen identities, it's so easy to steal somebody's identity, and then on top of that, you have AI that, somebody can just take your picture from anywhere and make it look like you're somewhere else or say something about you or whatever.
Right.
It's that part of it, I think, is definitely a little scary.
People were already stealing people's identities before AI.
Right.
Imagine how it is now. Yeah, it is crazy.
Have you all seen the movie WALL-E?
Yes.
Okay, so that was in 2008. I had to look up the time frame. But like I graduated in 07. So literally just this cartoon is predicting the future. So basically all the robots are leading humans, or the robots are managing everything. The humans are just lazy asses in a hover chair. No human interaction. It's just all about consumption.
Yeah, 20
Does
years
that
ago.
sound familiar?
Consumption.
Consumption.
Eat the fast food, buy the newest thing, trend. Let me influence you to do this and buy that and wear this and wear that.
And listen to Mamalukes podcast.
Yeah. Bill Burr does a great skit on that too, talking about how, one day there's going to be a toilet in the bed and you're just going to be laying there in bed and be like, open the toilet. It's like, put food in my mouth.
Yeah. Ugh. That's tough to think about because we're getting there.
Yep.
In ways.
Yeah.
It all started with the microwave.
Like I said, they really, somebody's going to have to be, it's not going to be our government. Somebody out there is going to have to be really intelligent and regulate it. And they're going to have to come up with regulations pretty quick. But
And
there's too much money behind it right now.
There's going to be people that are going to be against it too.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, you can't regulate my chat GPT.
Right.
But, I'll be impressed when I hear a kid that uses chat GPT and actually knows what GPT stands for. Because I don't think a lot of people do.
Is that your trivia
Is that your
question?
trivia question?
It's not, but I was just thinking
It
about
should
it.
be,
It should have
'cause-
been. It should have been.
Speaking of which,
Whoa. You can't just leave me hanging on. Like let me try.
Okay. Go ahead.
Were you going to say what it was?
I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
Oh,
I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
okay. My guess would be it's GPT, right?
Right.
Global. No? Am I already wrong? Oh, man. Alysha, intelligence, help me.
Think about what. Turning on your AI.
All I'm coming up with is garage parking tenant.
Global
no.
population.
No, think like he said, think about what it actually is.
Takeover.
Okay.
Eventually.
One more time. What was
General
that?
population.
Global population takeover.
You sound like you're gonna give something away or redecorate somebody's house.
What do you got, Luke? What is it?
Generative.
Oh, that makes sense.
I know the T is transformer. That's the one that gets everybody because what's a transformer?
Peabody.
I think is generative.
General Peabody.
I want to say trained, but that's not P. So
Close.
P must be like
In the toilet.
pre-trained?
Yep.
Okay. Generative pre-trained transformer. I think transformer is supposed to be like
Robots in disguise.
no, not that kind of transformer.
Rockets in flight.
Is it transforming the information? Like,
Right, something along those lines. That's what a transformer is considered. I think that's
like taking information from somewhere and
the term used on the software world. It's a transformer. It takes something and turns it into something else. And
I like the Autobots better.
well, sorry, that wasn't the trivia question, but
what a fascinating one. Anyway,
that's what this one's going to be. Okay. So not GPT, but back to kind of along the lines of what you were saying, Matt, how these groups and potentially the government, we know the government's doing it. It's happening. Which U.S. government department was a major early funder of artificial intelligence research for its own ulterior motives?
which branch of government?
The Department of...
Oh, department. Okay.
That's what you're looking for.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll be right back. This episode of Mamalukes is brought to you by Wave Dash Radio. If you're into video game or anime music, you should get tuned in. Whether you prefer the classics of Mario and Sonic, modern tracks of Halo or Kingdom Hearts, or the soundtracks of Full Metal Alchemist, Attack on Titan, and My Hero Academia, we've got a station for you. Featuring 4 separate stations, each with a curated playlist, you're sure to find something to jam out to. And the best part? You can listen for free. No strings attached, no asterisks. Just visit wave-radio.com to get started. That's WAVEDASH radio.com. And we're back. It's time for trivia. All right, Virginia, you got the first one.
All right, the question is, what does AT stand for? AT. Time's up. You guys all have your answers?
Sure do.
Alysha, you have your answer? Alrighty. What does AT stand for? Lucas, what do you think?
I have no idea. So I said like a truck commercial or something. Auto transforming, all terrain.
Fucker.
That's an ant.
Okay. Darn.
You ready, Alysha? Are you erasing?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm holding it.
I thought you were like, no, never mind.
Well, I also put all terrain. I think that Luke looked at my board.
I didn't.
All I could think of was all terrain. But all terrain artillery terrors.
Solid guess. It's still an ant. All right, so I'm very curious to see what Matt said, and I will also let the both of you know that 2 of your words were correct.
Okay.
Was it terrain and artillery?
No. No.
Artillery?
All right, let's see. Matt, do you know this one?
So actually, it doesn't stand for anything, and it's just the sound it makes when it walks. No. Okay. It's an all-terrain armored transport.
What is it?
All-terrain armored transport.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
I believe it.
Really thought
I
I
knew
might
Matt
have.
was going to get it.
Well,
You really gave him
I had
that
to
one,
come up with a
Virginia.
Star Wars one.
Question number 2, if you don't remember from 5 seconds ago. Which U.S. government department was a major early funder of artificial intelligence research for its own ulterior motives? All right. This time we shall start with Matt.
I have the Department of Defense. Hey.
It is correct.
Hey.
Uh-oh. Well, so Alysha said defense. What do you got,
Duh.
Virginia?
Well, you might be able to tell by the look on my face I did not say that, but I said Department of Homeland Security.
I mean, that's not a bad guess. But
But
I was going to spell it defense.
yeah,
defense.
I was going to put the little D and then a fence.
Yes, it was the Department of Defense that was like, yeah, we got to get on this AI thing because,
Go figure.
I mean, do we really need to discuss that one.
No, that's the premise of a lot of movies.
That's for sure. Movies are teaching us things. But we should all be familiar with that because we watch movies. We watch Christmas movies that tell us that all of these situations are completely ridiculous and would never actually happen because that's what all these Christmas movies do. Except,
Because true love is real.
maybe Die Hard was realistic. I'm just throwing shade. It's okay.
Throw
only
glaze
being able
instead.
to sleep with a random stranger one takes the cake.
Yeah, I mean,
What was that?
The one where the two people can only sleep when they're next to each other.
I heard sleep with random stranger. I was like, what?
well,
That's the premise of a lot of movies too.
yeah, that's
There's
true.
a whole subculture of movies you can watch based off of
And that is not a topic for today's episode, but you can go find that somewhere else.
Let us know what you think about these topics.
Yeah. Give us feedback.
Please, we want your feedback. We want to know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what we're doing in between, what AI actually stands for.
Let us know if you got the trivia questions right
And
without using AI.
yeah, that's fair. But yeah, that should be about all. You can find us on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Please just subscribe. You could find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads. Yep. Still debating on TikTok. I made a TikTok for Mamalukes. I don't know how I feel about it. It was hard enough to try and upload a single video on there. It was weird. It was hard enough trying to make the account and log into it. That's all I have to say about TikTok. But for real, if you want to support us, just tell a friend, share it with a friend, leave us a nice review on your podcast platform of choice, leave a comment, leave a Mamaluke of the Week story. We didn't have one of those. We need more. Send us all that type of stuff. Check out our website, mamalukes.net. But yeah, that should be all. We will see you next time in the next episode of 2026. See ya. Bye.
Good night, New Zealand.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. See you next time.